So I thought it would be fun. Do a little role play here.
Okay.
I am the team member who
Okay.
is showing up late consistently, and we are in your office, and we've got to have this tough conversation.
Okay. And the key word there that you used was consistently, right? Sometimes life happens, and every now and then you might be late because life happens. But when it becomes consistent, and I mean, I'm probably going to address it with someone after they've been late 2 to 3 times. We're going to start talking about it, right? But if you have been consistently late to the team meetings that I'm leading, then we're going to have a conversation that sounds kind of like this.
Oh, boy.
George, I know that you have a good heart and you have good intentions, and I love working with you, but you are being very disrespectful to the team and to me and to the work that we're here to do by showing up late. Because what you're saying when you show up late is that your time is more valuable than our time, and that you're not valuing the time of anyone else on the team or valuing this mission that we're on and this work that we're doing. And so I have got to help you understand that you have to make a decision to put whatever changes in your life you need to put in your life in order to be on time. Because that's who we are here. At Ramsey, we talk about who we are, and we describe who we are to keep reminding ourselves. And one of the things that we are is on time. Because you can't be excellent in what you're doing if you're consistently late. Now, that's just common sense to me. Is that common sense to you?
Absolutely. Wow, I felt that. Now, I noticed a few things in there that you did really well. Number one, you started off very positively. It wasn't right into this reprimand of
We were supposed to
hey,
do
you've been
the
showing up
sandwich.
late.
I didn't put the bun on the bottom.
I felt it, though. You said, hey, I love working with you. I love that you're on the team. I love being, your leader. But hey, there's this thing over here that's happening. And you also, there was a piece of that where you were kind of partnering with me. You're like, I feel like I need to do a better job helping you understand the vision and the principles.
If I did a better job, I might even point out specifically what value you are bringing to the team. There might be a skill set you bring that is very valuable, and I might point that out before reprimanding you, because if I hired you and you're doing a good job performance-wise, then I want more of that, and we have to fix your problem with being late.
Yeah. Then I'm incentivized because I feel like, wow, I mean a lot to this team. People look up to me, and that's something I've heard here. People say, people look up to you. Like, you're a leader here, and you've got to do that well so other people see you and follow suit.
That's a good thing. That's a good one, because a lot of people want to have influence. And most people on your team probably want to have influence. And that's a really good way to couch it. Like, if you want to have influence here, you have to be on time. Because again, back to the disrespect, like, you're showing disrespect by being late, and they won't look up to you, and you won't have the influence that you want.
Well, something I know to be true about you is that you have the pleasure of communicating a lot of hard things to our entire team. Now, we get to communicate some really fun things, but sometimes they're not fun. And I feel like you're the person they go, all right, Suzanne, you're in.
Someone else said that to me this morning.
I think it's a compliment to you, but I want to know from your perspective, why do you think that is that you are the one called to communicate these things?
I think, number one, it's because I love this team, and they know it. The leaders know it, and the team knows it, because I really do love them. I have such a passion for this team. And so because that's just innate in me, then I'm naturally going to give harsh information, hopefully in the right way. That is always my desire. So I think that's one reason why someone asked me this morning, like, why are you always the hammer? Well, I think that's why, because it's a hammer with maybe like a velvet
that is velvet hammer. That is Suzanne. I love that. Well, I feel that. I wanted to make sure that we were on the same page there, because I know that. I know that you are the person who is so passionate about this mission, and if something's getting in the way of that, well, you're going to communicate it to the team and nip that in the bud.
Yeah, and if you're trying to reprimand a team and you don't love them, they know it. You can't fake that.
Yeah.
And it just won't come across the same way. So,
and there was a recent example of this in a company staff meeting, which we have almost 1,000 team members now.
Yeah.
And you got to go up there and address people showing up late.
Yeah, and I think one of the key things here is I actually observed it myself. We have a second floor to that has a balcony that overlooks our staff meeting and Devo times. And so people sit up there to be a part of the staff meeting, which is fine. We have some chairs up there. Well, I got word that there were a lot of people coming in late and sitting where they couldn't even see the stage. So that means they're disengaged. So the first thing I did was I went up there twice for the entire staff meeting to observe. So I would have firsthand knowledge and not be accusing people of things that I was getting secondhand. I will say it weirded people out to see me up there roaming around. Anyway, I did that. And then when I addressed it for the whole team, I addressed it by first of all calling out to them as a reminder of why we come to work every day and this mission we're on and the fact we're called by God to do this thing. And I actually used some scripture that I prayed about it beforehand. Like I asked God to guide me in how to give this information, because if you're going to stand up in front of 1,000 people, if you're going to stand up in front of 50 people and reprimand, like you need to do it the right way to get the point across and to do it in a way that they don't feel shamed, because that's not productive. And so that's the way that I couched it. And I just said, I just let them know how disrespectful it is and how disengaged they are when they're not where they can even see who's on the stage. And by the way, that breaks down unity. We have to be unified as an organization if we're going to pull off the disruption that we feel called to pull off in the toxic culture that we live in. And that is what Ramsey is about. Well, how are we going to have that level of disruption if we're not completely unified with locked arms as a team? And how are we going to be completely unified with locked arms as a team if we've got 10 to 20% of us that don't care to be on time on a regular basis?
Yeah.
And don't care to sit or stand where they can see the stage, engage with whoever's on the stage, and that sort of thing. So that's the direction I went with it. And I got so much feedback. I had multiple team members email me, come up to me in the hallways, and genuinely thank me. There was one girl who came up to me just yesterday that I've never even met before. And she kind of shared with me what season she's in her life personally that's just very difficult. She has a child with health issues, and she has to get up at 5 a.m. every morning to tend to her child, get her whole family out the door, get here on time. And yet it's so important to her to be here on time. She makes that a priority. So she gets up at 5 a.m. in order to do that. And she comes into work and she sees people strolling in late all the time, and it's so demoralizing to her. And she was just so appreciative that I would address that elephant in the room for people like her and call out what she's seeing happening. They were just super appreciative of it.
It reminds me of the importance of having your mission and your values clearly communicated before you communicate anything else. Because when you can tie it back to the value of saying, hey, this is who we are, this is what you signed up for, these are the core values, and this is why it's important to our mission that you do these things, it totally changes the conversation. It doesn't feel like a personal attack. It just seems like hey, we need to be unified in this area, and part of that is doing these actions.